it has an equal chance of being drawn again. There's no way to know. So, know the facts. If it stops me in the game, call the helpline or visit our website. Knowing your limits is always the best bet.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Hodge. Tonight on your WZMQ 19 News, we head to the state capitol where first responders, along with representatives from the Upper Peninsula, join to remember those lost on 9/11. Plus, Marquette High School students this morning plant 3,000 flags on campus for each person killed that day. And an Escanaba ice cream shop, UP Health System Hospice, and other community members gather for their own ceremony remembering that horrible day. Your 19 News at 6 starts now.
Live from the UP WZMQ 19 News at 6.
It was a warm one today after some clouds and a little bit of rain yesterday. Air, can we expect to see these temperatures continue?
Oh, my friend, I'll go over all of those details after the break, of course. But as far as this week goes, definitely expect those warmer conditions. A live look here at downtown Escanaba on Ludington Street, where we've got sunshine for the most part, although you probably notice it's a little bit hazy out there. I'll go over why that's happening. And then look at these lows tonight. We'll be in that 50, 60-degree range as well. So definitely windows open, at least in my house. Winds still coming out of the south primarily. We'll see a change of direction and some varying winds, but overall should be really nice weather.
All right, thanks very much, Air. A trial date has been set for a Delta County man charged with shooting his former father-in-law in January. Jacob Cronick is charged with assault with intent to do great bodily harm, less than murder, or by strangulation. In February, his ex-in-law, Eric Perota, testified that he went to Cronick's house while a group of men helped his daughter pick up personal property. Security camera footage shows Perota slapping Cronick's phone out of his hands and Cronick pinning him against a car. After the men were separated, Cronick shot Perota in the abdomen and Perota was hospitalized for 3 days. Today, the judge added a felony firearm charge at the prosecution's request. Cronick will stand trial for both charges on March 3rd. And today marks 23 years since the 9/11 attacks in Pennsylvania, Virginia, and New York. Every year, state lawmakers gather in Lansing to remember the day's events and honor the first responders who continue to risk their lives for the American people. Our Michigan Capitol correspondent Sophia Murphy spoke with UP representatives at today's ceremony about the importance of continuing to memorialize the anniversary of September 11th.
Lawmakers have gathered on the Capitol lawn today to commemorate 23 years since the 9/11 tragedy.
But perhaps what was most remarkable after that cloudy September morning was that Americans from all walks of life, different faiths, different backgrounds, different stories to their journey to this country, came together and united in the face of terror.
109th District Representative Jen Hill made the trip from Marquette for the ceremony. Along with lawmakers from across the state, they welcomed and honored the first responders in attendance and all those who have passed away in the line of duty.
This day is really about remembering the tragedy of what happened September 11th, 2001, as well as the continued sacrifice and dedication of our first responders, fire personnel, and public safety officers.
Speakers focused on remembering the lives of everyone impacted that day, while also emphasizing their role as lawmakers to continue to work together in these divisive times, to honor those who worked to protect Americans that day. Chocolate Township Fire Chief Lee Gold says it was a beautiful ceremony and an honor to be a part of the group that gathered together.
It means a lot to be here today, to be, we represent the Upper Peninsula, but also to come down with all the fellow firefighters and all the state representatives and the police that were here today, all emergency responders, to be part of that crowd here today.
From Michigan's capital, Sophia Murphy, WZMQ 19 News.
Under a U.S. flag at half-staff, students at Marquette Senior High School honored the victims of the 9/11 terrorist attacks by planting American flags in front of the school. This morning, students from Mr. Lancour's U.S. history class were among the several classrooms that planted the 2,977 flags representing those lost on 9/11. They not only want to honor those fallen on that fateful day, but also never forget how that day forever changed the world we live in. Although sophomore Grace Burgess was not even born yet, she understands the importance of remembering this day and the need to always remain vigilant in preventing anything like this from ever happening again.
It's a really huge part of history, and it's definitely something that sadly could happen again, and those, people can be aware of what could happen and what could be in the near future if it were to come to it. We can honor those lives that we've lost over time, and it's really important to keep it in our lives.
The ceremony has become an annual tradition at the senior high school as part of the 9/11 Never Forget Project. In Escanaba, 2 Delta County organizations partnered for a 3rd year to remember those affected by 9/11. Jim's Dairy Cream, UP Health System Hospice, and UP community members gathered by the flag for a prayer and a moment of silence in honor of those who died. Attendees also shared memories of where they were when they heard the news of the attacks in 2001. As an organization that deals with loss every day, UPHS Hospice says it's important to remember the people left behind in a tragedy like 9/11.
We really cherish memorializing those that we've lost in any capacity and never forgetting the sacrifice that they gave as well as the impact for the families. We want to be a support for the families in grief and the journey that they're on.
Jim's also gave away free ice cream today in honor of America's first responders and veterans. The Smithsonian National Museum of American History in our nation's capital has more than 3 million historical objects in their collections, some of which are objects from the September 11th attacks. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp joins us live from D.C. And Rachel, good to see you. You got a chance to visit the museum curators and got to see some of the items that are not on display. What can you tell us about that?
Good evening, Kevin. It was certainly a one-of-a-kind experience, an experience I will never forget. So these items that are not on display, they're each taken from one of the 3 attack sites. But curators tell me that these items have multiple stories behind them.
It's just a note, but I think it's very effective.
Curators at the Smithsonian National Museum of American History take us into one of their storage rooms where they've laid out a few pieces they've collected from the 3 September 11th, 2001 attack sites.
Curators were initially given the green light to go and collect. They faced a monumental problem, which is how it was soon after the attacks and what is the story. So they focused on 3 specific things. They focused on the attacks themselves, the first responders, and the rescue effort. And then not a little bit further on, the national response.
They have collected hundreds of items, from first responder equipment
to remind us of the damage that was done that day and, of course, the great sacrifice that the FDNY faced,
to debris and letters to loved ones about their whereabouts.
A simple piece of paper and a pencil was able to communicate a world of information.
Clothes, even beepers.
Here, I'll pick this up.
Curators say these objects have multiple stories.
This is an evidence bag. It is how they process materials found at the site. Everyone was trying to call everybody, but beepers, that's what this is, the remnants of a beeper, they still work just fine. And for those of you who might remember, you could communicate with beeper. And so entire offices were able to find out if everyone got out.
As the years pass by, curators have been collecting items that also share the story of how the nation and communities continue to be affected from the attacks 23 years ago.
We'd like to be able to share that and talk about that and collect and preserve how the nation has changed.
And Kevin, the museum is also looking to revamp their exhibit, America at War, which is called The Price of Freedom, which includes that 9/11 display inside the museum. They're keeping those details pretty close right now. They're not saying too much, but they want to basically change up the way they share the 9/11 story, especially for those who were not even born yet when that awful day happened, and so they want to change up how the display is portrayed inside the museum so that everyone can have a better understanding of not only the significance of that day, but how it impacted all of us from now on. Reporting live from the U.S. Capitol, Rachel Knapp for WZMQ. Kevin, back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Rachel. And your first warning weather forecast is coming up after the break. Plus, Vice President Harris and former President Trump take a break from the campaign trail to remember what we lost on 9/11. We'll be right back.
This mountain, it has its own way of sorting out who is worthy. $1 million shared by the few who make it to the top.
There is strategy going in.
Blood.
Do you want to get the knife out of my back?
Sweat. No one is safe.
We can steal someone's money by voting someone out.
Oh my God!
I'll be the first one to push you off that mountain.
The Summit. Special sneak peek of the premiere episode September 29th on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
It'll be raining cats and dogs again. Time to waterproof with Gorilla.
Waterproof with Gorilla?
Yeah!
Gorilla Waterproof Patch and Seal.
Of course.
Spray it, tape it, spread it, brush it to stop and prevent leaks. For the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
With Reynolds Wrap, cooking becomes so easy, you can feel like the chef of your kitchen. Easy prep, easy cook, easy clean. Reynolds Wrap.
The Shortlist, a countdown show that's all sports. See the greatest names and the greatest games in all sports. Sports fans love it, and you will too. That's The Shortlist, only from SSN, the Cindy Sports Network.
He's a mind reader.
On WZMQ CBS, tonight's weather is brought to you by Shunk Furniture.
The Shunk's factory authorized custom order sale. With delivery times getting back to normal, it's a great time to have it your way, get a sale price, and get 12 months to pay. Choose from hundreds of sofas, love seats, chairs, and sectionals. All the latest styles are here. Over 3,000 fabrics and leathers to pick from. Sectionals, 50 different styles to choose from, and hundreds of configurations to fit your room. It's Shunk's factory authorized custom order sale. Shop Shunk Furniture at Marquette today.
Now, award-winning WZMQ 19 First Warning Weather with Air Stasic.
Let's find out what we've got ahead of ourselves here as far as weather conditions. Well, we do have some beach alerts to let you know about, and those hazy conditions, which means we have some wildfires as well. So I'll go over that as well as those burning permits per the DNR. Temperatures, we are going to be hot and toasty, roasty for quite a bit, so be prepared for that. And then precipitation, overall we're looking fairly dry, which is not a great thing when we do have some wildfire conditions that are possible. Current radar showing very dry skies at the moment, so there is a moderate swim risk. This is that beach hazard. It is down in South Schoolcraft County, so along Lake Michigan. That is for today. We've got breaking waves and some big wind gusts down there, especially on the lake, so best idea to stay out of that water down there. Find a different inland waterway. Burning info per the DNR. Remember, they update this at 10 a.m. every morning. You can go to their website to see what it looks like tomorrow. But at the moment, we've got Dickinson County that's in that brown zone, which means there's no open debris permitted whatsoever. Yellow and orange, yellow/orange counties here, there are burn permit restrictions, so make sure you head over to the DNR or call them to find out what that actually looks like. If you're in the green county, looks like you're in the go, but maybe hold off for a little bit. Here's a look at today's wildfires across the continent there, and then the smoke conditions. We're in this yellow kind of zone, which means there is that moderate risk of some smoke hanging over our area. But as far as air quality is concerned for today and right now, we do have fairly good air quality, those little green dots indicating that. Again, that could be changing over the next couple of days. And just a heads up here, Wednesday evening, Iron Mountain and Menominee, you're in that minimal zone still, but again, maybe not burn anything. In Dickinson County, especially as that continues into those early evening hours here. Thursday, it's going to be kind of that same story, definitely for Menominee, but everyone else a little bit clearer of those risks for now. So we've got dry skies tonight, fairly clear. At the moment, it looks like those northern lights will be making another appearance tomorrow night. We've got better chances in that view line. Some sprinkles possible over Lake Superior and Lake Michigan, maybe touching ground late Thursday night or early Friday morning. But overall, again, we talked about it should be pretty dry until possibly Saturday night or Sunday. Here's that precipitation outlook for the next 8 to 14 days. We are leaning above for at least half of the UP, while the other half, or a little bit more than that, is in that dry zone. And temperatures today, we were fairly similar to everybody else, a little bit cooler than Chicago. But I've got the 7-day outlook for Marquette coming up in 15 minutes.
All right, thanks, Aaron. Coming up next on Insights, we're joined by a Upers United hockey player. Stay tuned.
Some places talk about being local, but we actually are local. Our family started Superior Collision 18 years ago, and we're still the ones who own and operate it today. No big company name, no outside investors. We are all Marquette, and we're going to stay that way. We are part of this community, and we are proud of the work we do. You can choose to go to a corporate body shop, or you can stay local and go to Superior Collision, Marquette's local hometown body shop.
Are you looking for a trustworthy publishing company to publish your book?
Covenant Books is an author-friendly publisher who shares your passion and beliefs. Call us today and we'll send you a free author packet to help get you started.
Call the number right now for your free writer's guide.
Anti-abortion politicians vote against your freedoms, and now they want Mike Rogers to join them. The facts. Mike Rogers said, "I support all restrictions on abortion," just like his anti-abortion backers. No exceptions for rape or incest. They even supported a nationwide abortion ban and laws that could eliminate IVF and birth control. So if you believe Mike Rogers and anti-abortion activists will protect your rights, we got a bridge to sell you.
I'm Melissa Slotkin, and I approve this message.
Update your home with new GE appliances from Kirkish Furniture in Houghton. GE appliances are built to last, have print-resistant finishes, and offer high performance with energy efficiency. Kirkish has a large selection for both kitchen and laundry, free delivery, and 0% financing.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see.
DEPR.
Mental illness doesn't show up on a scale. Bipolar? Sorting out a mental health concern takes professional diagnosis and treatment.
Anxiety. I thought so.
If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, don't go it alone. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral, call 1-800-662-HELP. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
You're watching WZMQ 19 News, live and local, with Kevin Hodge.
Welcome back, everyone. In 2 days, local hockey players will take on Detroit Red Wings alumni for the Upers United Hockey Night in Marquette. And joining us tonight is the captain of the Upers United team, Nicholas Boyle. Nicholas, thanks so much for coming on with us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's start with how long have you been playing hockey?
I've been playing hockey for over 30 years. It's been a fair bit of time.
All right, and how long have you been taking part in Hockey Night?
This is my second time. So back in 2022, when we did it the first time, I took part in it as one of the players, ended up getting to play with the Red Wings themselves, but got to go through the fundraising effort, see what the United Way does, and so for the second time around, had a little better understanding of what was expected of the players, and got to really work with the United Way to make sure that we're making as big of an impact as we can.
Right, and what kind of, in your opinion, what kind of impact does this have for the United Way of Marquette County?
So just for rough math, we have about 80,000 people just south of that in Marquette County. The United Way impacts about 20,000 people, so 1 in 4 people in Marquette County. So basically everybody that you know has been affected by the work that the United Way does. In the last year, they raised over $500,000 through their corporate partners, and then over $100,000 just from the Red Wing game 2 years ago. So a lot of money has come out from this. It's been a great cause, and it's great to see that the community really riles around it, because the United Way does so much good in the community. You really, if you throw a stone in this community, you can find something the United Way has been a part of.
Right, it's not a bad way to try and get to be raising some money, having
Absolutely.
a hockey game with the Red Wings. So you've been playing with the Red Wings, and the last one you took part in, correct? Yep. So what's that like to be able to play with, some of the veterans?
It was really cool, because a lot of them, I went in on it from a tactical side, so I always ask questions like, if I'm going in the corner here, where do you want the support? Kind of pick their brain a little bit where they would play as a pro. and then just kind of get to feel the game. And there was a lot of guys that they were just like, yeah, it's just pond hockey, just go out and have fun. So it really spread the gap there. But the skill level, I mean, there was Elkins was there, he was my age, and then he played in Belfast. He was there the same time I was. So and then you have guys like Mickey Redmond. So there was guys that spread the whole gamut of ice hockey, and so you got to see different styles of play from different eras of hockey. It's just absolutely fantastic.
Right, and so you know what it's like to play with them. What do you think it's going to be like to play against them?
It's going to be hard. They do not, let's put it this way, they do not want to lose. They are so mad that it ended in a 7-7 tie that they've made sure that this trip, it's budgeted in for overtime if it's need be. So Joey Koster was very upset leaving the locker room there. I won't mention any choice words, but he wanted to make sure that everybody knew that this wasn't over and that they were coming back, if nothing else, just to settle that game.
Sure, that's what I've heard, is there's a score to settle here.
Yeah, there is, and they're trying to pull up everybody they can to try to make sure that they beat the Upers and they don't have a repeat.
All right, well, I guess we'll see what happens on Friday. Is there any notable players you can tell us
Yeah,
about that are going to be
there's
there?
names I've heard coming out. You know, there's I won't have the roster till the plane lands, but some of the names I've been hearing. I mean, like you got Mickey Redmond, Joey Koster, Drew Miller, Danny DeKaiser actually just did an interview with your competitor up the road, TV3, so we know he's coming for sure. So at least I can confirm one player coming in. But then we've got Luke Witkowski. We've got Randy McKay coming down from Tech. You know, Randy's always a great guy. Love getting to spend time with him. Hall of Famer Dino Cicerelli, I've heard, is coming up possibly, as well as Craig Cox, Drew Miller, and then Ryan Kessler as well. So another Michigan guy that played for Vancouver and Anaheim.
Sure.
So a lot of big names coming in.
Yeah, sounds like it's going to be a great game. Nicholas, thank you so much for hopping on with us today.
Thanks for having
me.
me.
Appreciate it. All right, and coming up after the break, our team was at the Pentagon this morning to cover their ceremony remembering 9/11.
First day.
Let's have a great show.
Action! Action!
I am so glad that UNCC are here. And Georgie, atta girl.
Georgie and Andy's First Marriage, Thursday, October 17th, part of CBS Premiere Week on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
The UP's show for family fun. Join me for Pictionary here on WZMQ TV 19.
At the Alzheimer's Association Walk to End Alzheimer's, this is why we walk. This is why we walk. They're why we walk. And you know what? This is why we walk too. We walk in the Alzheimer's Association Walk to End Alzheimer's because we're getting closer to beating this disease. But to get there, we need you. Join us. Hey!
She's inquisitive.
What led to this young lady finding you in this compromising situation?
And firm.
The only thing that matters in this particular courtroom, sir, is how I see it.
Watch Equal Justice with Judge Ebony K. Williams.
Weekdays on WZMQ CBS.
Direct.
Don't you ever look up at the sky and roll your eyes. You hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Realistic.
I will maybe have a tendency to
spend too much and won't be able to pay your rent. That's the problem.
He holds the line.
I resent it, and I resent you for doing it.
Powerful.
I don't know where you've been, but you're going to respect this courtroom. I'm going to throw you out real quick.
Mathis Court is in session.
Weekdays on WZMQ CBS.
The devil is always in the details. Forensic Factor.
Welcome back, everyone. Remembrance ceremonies were held in New York City, Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and Arlington, Virginia today to remember the nearly 3,000 lives lost on September 11, 2001. 184 of those individuals were killed in the attack on the Pentagon. WZMQ 19 News Washington, D.C. correspondent Brendan Scanlon covered the Pentagon's annual 9/11 ceremony this morning.
Would you please join me in a moment of silence in remembrance of the lives lost on that very minute on September 11th, 2001.
This morning at the Pentagon, a moment of silence to remember the 184 lives lost 23 years ago. Loved ones and leaders gathering to remember and pay tribute.
We have repaired the damage to this building, but we cannot repair the damage to your hearts.
No words can take away your grief. No amount of time can make sense of the worst terrorist attack in American history.
It was at 9:37 a.m. on September 11, 2001, when American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon after being hijacked by terrorists. All 64 people on board and 125 people in the Pentagon were killed. The day changed the course of American history, and it was a day Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says those at the Pentagon will never forget.
It can feel as if more and more Americans are returning to normal life on each new September 11th. But not here, not at the Pentagon, because we remember. Every day we serve in the only surviving building struck by Al-Qaeda on 9/11. And every day we carry a powerful sense of purpose.
Reporting in Washington, Brendan Scanlon, WZMQ 19 News.
Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump both took time off the campaign trail to commemorate the September 11th attacks 23 years ago today. The brief pause in the political rhetoric follows their first meeting last night for a heated presidential debate. Skylar Henry has more details from the White House.
The planes for Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Trump were stacked up at LaGuardia Airport as both candidates attended 9/11 memorial services, and the rivals shook hands at the Ground Zero ceremony Wednesday morning.
Kamala Harris, let's have a good debate.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Hours earlier, Harris met Trump with a handshake as the two faced off in their first and likely only presidential debate. For Harris, that meant going on the offensive, needling Trump about things like the crowd sizes at his rallies.
And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
Trump hammered his signature issue, immigration, but also repeated a baseless claim about migrants in Springfield, Ohio.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
A spokesperson for the city of Springfield told CBS News there is no evidence of pets being harmed by immigrants. The false claim blew up on social media, dominating the post-debate comments from voters watching at home.
He was just replying to what he was being told. I mean, he's not perfect, but again, at the end of the day, I feel strongly for him and what he can do for our country.
I was stunned at how incredibly well Kamala Harris was. She just owned the night.
Wednesday, Trump was asked if there would be a second debate.
We're looking at it, but you know, when you win, you don't really necessarily have to do it a second time, so we'll see.
And Trump's campaign tweeted this moment from Shanksville, when President Biden put on a Trump hat. The White House says he did it as a gesture of unity.
Vice President Harris is in North Carolina tomorrow holding several rallies, while former President Trump will talk about immigration again in the border state of Arizona. And coming up after the break, Air tells us how we're looking for our nighttime temperatures in the Outlook. We'll be right back after this.
My family's been in business for 70 plus years. We really needed to stress that this is not just a running store. Our running shoes are good for everybody.
It's about the people out in the community who are in the workforce. All those people really benefit from the proper footwear and structure that a running shoe can provide.
They might come in limping, almost like a miracle, walk out of here dancing. It's more than shoes. There's a caring that doesn't exist in a lot of businesses anymore.
Did I tell you I saw Carl Bodak on the street the other day? Whatever happened to him?
Oh, he went off the deep end in conspiracy theories.
He said vaccines were like Nazi experiments.
He pushed people to take horse dewormer.
And did you hear him attacking Ed McBroom?
Yeah, saying our elections were stolen.
He even thinks climate change is a hoax.
After the winters we've been having? Such a shame. It's sad to see a nice man go bad.
I'm telling you, your country.
I'm about to show Blake Shelton how country I can get.
That was my hillbilly kicking in, my country, my swag.
You're way countrier than I am. I've never ridden a bull.
Plus, an 81-year-old power lifter raises the bar.
Give her a hand!
On the Jennifer Hudson Show.
The Jennifer Hudson Show, tomorrow at 5 on WZMQ TV CBS, followed by 19 News at 6.
The state of America
Wow.
One state at a time.
Has the meaning of home changed for you?
I believe in our country, and I want to serve it.
Eye on America, weeknights on the CBS Evening News.
Oliver Wendell Douglas, man of few words.
Oh, for the love of. Oh, for the love of.
Oh, for the love of me TV.
Oh, for the love of.
Green Acres, weeknights at 9:30 p.m. on WZMQ Me TV.
Great night to go riding down by the beach, maybe towards Presque Isle or away from it. We've got temperatures dropping down into the 60s and 50s this evening. We'll get to you in a second, my friend. Partly cloudy skies for Marquette, and expect those temperatures around 55 degrees here in the morning. Tomorrow, though, 75 to 90 degrees, definitely a good day for some iced coffee. And then taking a look at the rest of the week, we've got some low 80s here and possible showers on that Sunday morning.
All right, thanks very much, Air. And that's all we have for now, but we'll see you later tonight.